here with another edition of SVG Sports Tech On Demand. I'm Jason Dackman, Chief Editor at SVG. Thanks for joining us. And we've got the guys from Levels Beyond, of course, the creators of Reach Engine, joining us today. We've got Jonathan Carr. He's Customer Solutions Executive. Hey, Jonathan. And we've got Rob Hill, Client Solution Engineer. Rob, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. You guys, I believe, are both calling us from Denver, where Levels Beyond is headquartered, right?
Yep.
Cool.
That's correct.
We love Denver. I am a Denver native, so big fans at SVG of all things Denver. Look, Levels Beyond has been extremely busy, even prior to the pandemic, but some of the trends that were already sort of happening ended up getting accelerated, right, by the pandemic. And I'm just curious, in terms of the latest additions, the latest features within Reach Engine, the latest things you're seeing in the market. Maybe Jonathan, let's start with you. What's the big updates right now from Levels Beyond?
Yeah, distributed workforce, kind of as you were alluding to, has definitely been a pretty big initiative on our end. There's a lot about Reach Engine that could support a distributed workforce before, but not really at the scale that we're talking about now, and the flexibility that's required. So that's sort of the biggest key initiative on our end is, seeing a lot of things move to the cloud, but also still requiring that intelligence on-prem to either, for the actual production shoot or just moving data around as it needs to be.
Sure. And Rob, how about in your neck of the woods on the Levels Beyond front? What's exciting you these days?
Yeah, well, kind of tagging on to what JR said, there has been a huge increase in utilization among our existing clients of the Reach Engine platform, whether it's just expanding to different business segments within an organization. We've seen a exponential increase in workflow usage and just overall, harnessing of the processing power of Reach Engine. On the same page, as a workflow developer, I see a lot of new requests coming across the page. Hey, are we able to, take care of this piece for you? Recently, I was tasked with creating fully automated transcript generation from video files, and that was pretty exciting. A lot more went into it than I originally anticipated. But Reach Engine was a great product, at least as far as getting to the correct integrations to make that happen.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, when it comes to the MAM and orchestration front, just a few years ago, I think within the media and entertainment sector, it was sort of a one-way stream, right? You have capture, you have production, and then you have distribution. And there wasn't really a either or way when it came to that ecosystem. Now, I think especially within sports, we're looking for a lot more of that cross-flow, where you can hit different points within the media supply chain within one system. And I know that Reach Engine is targeting a lot of that. So Jonathan, why don't you tell us a little bit about how using your guys' software and functionality, you can achieve that two-way scenario of from capture to distribution.
Yeah, the analytics side of it is definitely one of the common questions, right? Is what content is getting used, what content is getting viewed by the various people that are, inspecting and using our content inventory. And then, what other content is out there that we could be using more effectively? So those two questions, drive a lot of trying to connect the various, the disparate data silos, and then figure out, how do you still build the rights management into that, but still have the visibility amongst, the broader organization, or even between, leagues and teams of what exists to be used.
Sure. So, Rob, why don't we kind of go to you? How does Reach Engine allow, different kind of active engagements that can connect a league or a team directly to a venue or directly to a studio and allow that two-way flow of content to happen?
Well, JR and I were actually discussing this recently. There are some leagues and organizations in the sports arena that don't have great connectivity between the teams, the league, and the arenas themselves, to the point where interns are being tasked with literally driving over hard drives with the footage and the 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 material to the arena. We're making things easier and facilitating that. So, we're saving on gas and making things a little bit easier for the interns.
Sure. Yeah. So how do you guys see this evolving, moving forward as as some of these workflows have become more of a norm rather than the exception to the norm? Do you anticipate, these type of multi-site workflows and again, that reverse flow of the media chain to continue? And how are you guys going to be able to serve those needs?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is, I mean, the workflows that we've designed have been pretty built to specific use cases, right? Of kind of known conditions and known scenarios of, hey, when this happens, we'll move things here, or when this team requires data, we can transfer it then. And I think the next step that we're working on is a little bit more intelligence, so that as people are using the system and requesting access to different things, or as things are required, the system can have a little bit of intelligence and awareness to kind of adapt to those habits without necessarily having to be so prescriptive about, oh, you're going out of process, so therefore you're going to have something slow. Well, if you do that 3 times, how can the system just inherently learn to adapt to that kind of learned use case that's been imposed by, the people that are trying to get their job done?
Right. So take what you guys have already done, but add that extra layer of intelligence to make it even more efficient. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Rob, how about you? What do you see coming down the pike for you guys when we discuss these types of trends?
Well, a big focus for us recently has been accessing data from different locations. There's a huge move from on-premise to cloud-based storage, and that involves a whole new array of writing code and accessing these data objects differently, making sure that whether they're archived or on premise, we can perform the same operations and manipulate those assets, get them to where they need to be as quickly as possible. And that's really exciting on my end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to enable all kinds of cool new workflows, when it comes to not being limited by geography and location. So that should be a lot of fun. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what Levels has coming down the line. But for now, thanks again for your time and stay safe. Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. See you.